If your income doubled tomorrow, would your life truly change for the better? Or would you simply find more ways to spend it all away? Michael once believed that money was the ultimate destination, but the more he earned, the more he felt like a shadow, chasing an unreachable light. True wealth seemed to retreat further with every new possession he acquired, leaving behind only the cold echo of an empty heart and a cluttered room. The weight of his lifestyle was becoming a heavy anchor, dragging him down into a sea of anxiety that no amount of shopping could ever truly soothe. He wondered if he was living his life, or if he was simply working to maintain a facade that brought him no genuine joy or peace. Every tick of the clock felt like a reminder of time spent working for things that didn't matter, while his soul remained hungry for something real. The pursuit of more had become a full-time job, yet the feeling of enough was a ghost that he could never seem to catch or hold. He realized that his home was filled with trophies of temporary desires, each one representing a moment of weakness he mistook for a deserved reward. He was trading his youth and energy for digital numbers, only to see those numbers vanish into the pockets of companies selling him temporary happiness. Is this the cycle of modern life, he wondered? To work until we break just to buy things we don't need, to impress people we don't like? When he got his last raise, he thought his problems were over, but his spending simply grew to meet his new income, leaving him just as stressed. He remembered the rush of adrenaline as he bought that watch, a feeling that lasted exactly 3 days before the excitement faded into total indifference. The items he once craved were now just more things he had to clean, protect, and eventually worry about losing in the chaotic clutter of life. The bills were a constant reminder of his lack of control, a chain he had forged himself with every impulsive click and every swipe to buy. He felt like that leaf, disconnected from the tree of stability, floating aimlessly toward a ground that offered no cushion for his inevitable financial fall. He was sacrificing his health for wealth, only to realize he might eventually have to spend that wealth just to regain his lost health and sanity. The coffee was a temporary fuel for a life that was running on empty, a bitter ritual in a world that demanded constant, unyielding productivity. Where was the boy who used to dream of adventure? And when did he become a man who only dreamed of having a higher credit limit? In the darkness, the truth was harder to hide. His life was full of things, but his soul was starving for a sense of real purpose. We often confuse rewards for our hard work with emotional indulgence. Every time we say, "I deserve this," after a long day, we are lying. In reality, you are borrowing freedom from your future self just to buy a single minute of satisfaction that will vanish before you reach home. The mall is a temple of distractions, designed to make us feel inadequate so that we might try to buy our way into a better version. The high of a new purchase is a drug, and like any drug, the dosage must increase every time to achieve the same fleeting, hollow feeling. He saw the same hunger in their eyes, a desperate need to fill a void that objects were never designed to fit, no matter the price. He imagined the status he would gain behind the wheel, ignoring the fact that status is a prison where the guards are other people's opinions. His living space was becoming a warehouse for his insecurities, a physical manifestation of his inability to say no to the siren song of consumerism. Marketers don't sell products. They sell the fear of being left behind, the fear of being less than, the fear of being simply ordinary in life. He had enough clothes to last a lifetime, yet he still felt like he had nothing to wear for the person he wanted to become tomorrow. The cycle is designed to be endless, a treadmill where you run faster and faster just to stay in the same place of perpetual, nagging desire. The excitement had died before the battery even reached its first full charge, leaving him with another cord to manage and another bill to pay. It wasn't the big purchases that broke him. It was the 1,000 tiny yeses he gave to every passing whim and every clever marketing email. Every small temptation is a test of character, a moment where we decide if our impulses or our long-term goals are truly in the lead. That tiny no felt like a spark of rebellion against a world that wanted him to always say yes to everything it put in front. Resisting a temptation is like a muscle. It feels weak and painful at first, but it grows stronger every time you choose to exercise it. He began to see his possessions not as assets, but as thieves that had stolen his time, his money, and his precious peace of mind. True wealth isn't about having the ability to buy everything. It's about having the strength to realize you don't need most of it at all. He felt a strange relief in the emptiness, a quietness that allowed him to hear his own thoughts instead of the loud demands of his desires. The most valuable things in his life had cost him nothing but time and attention, the very things he had been wasting on hollow material pursuits. The journey to wealth was not going to be paved with more gold, but with the quiet, firm rejection of things that no longer served. The breaking point usually comes when we least expect it, a sudden reminder that the safety we've bought is often just a fragile, paper-thin illusion. He sat in the silence of the stalled engine, the rhythmic sound of the windshield wipers failing to clear the rising sense of impending dread. In that moment, his designer clothes were just wet fabric, and his high-status watch couldn't tell him how he would pay for the upcoming repairs. The numbers on the screen were brutally honest, a low balance that couldn't hide behind a clever filter or a well-timed social media post today. He had spent his safety net on a lifestyle he couldn't actually afford, and now, when he needed a shield, he only found empty plastic boxes. Real wealth isn't determined by what you can buy, but by the level of peace you can maintain when everything you own suddenly starts falling apart. He realized he didn't own his possessions, they owned him, binding him to a life of fear because he had no margin for error or accident. The bright windows of the boutiques now felt like the eyes of predators, waiting to consume the little energy and money he had left remaining. The silence was deafening, forcing him to face the reality that his success was a house of cards built on the shifting sands of constant debt. You can't buy your way out of a problem that you spent your way into, he realized, his heart heavy with the weight of his choices. He was a high-earning pauper, a man with a large salary but a small spirit, trapped in a cage of his own making and expensive tastes. Every object was a scar from a battle he lost against a craving, a piece of his freedom he had traded for a moment of noise. The man in the mirror was done with the lies. He was ready to face the truth, no matter how uncomfortable or how lonely it might be. The first step to freedom is admitting you are a slave, not to a person, but to your own unmanaged and undisciplined desires for more stuff. Seeing the numbers on paper made them real, stripping away the mystery and replacing it with a concrete map of the mountain he had to climb. The monster was finally out from under the bed, and while it was large, it was no longer invisible or impossible to eventually overcome with time. It was a small victory, a tiny snip of the threads that kept him tied to a world of constant wanting and never-ending, exhausting comparison with others. Sleep came easier that night, not because his problems were gone, but because he had finally decided to stop running away from the truth of them. The sun didn't bring new money, but it brought a new perspective, a realization that he could survive on much less than he ever previously thought. Luxury is often just a mask for boredom. Simplicity is the canvas upon which a truly rich and meaningful life can finally be painted clearly. Seeking clarity, Michael wandered far from the neon lights of the city, drawn toward the rhythmic sound of a hammer hitting hot, glowing orange iron. The old blacksmith worked with a focused intensity, his movements economical and precise, a dance of discipline between the man, the fire, and the steel. His eyes held a sparkle that Michael hadn't seen in the city, a look of someone who knew exactly who they were and what they truly needed. Every strike was a choice, a rejection of the excess iron to reveal the strong blade hidden within the raw, unrefined material of the hot bar. The blacksmith's secret was not in finding more gold, but in knowing how to reject the impure iron that would weaken his final, sturdy creation. Michael asked about wealth, and the old man simply looked out at the valley, the wind ruffling his beard as he took a slow sip. Is your heart a jar that holds the water of your efforts? Or is it a sieve that lets your life leak out through every small hole? Wealth is not about how much water you pour in, but about how many holes you have dared to plug with the cork of self-discipline. The fire gives us what we need when it is controlled, but it consumes us when we let it spread to every dry leaf of our desires. He realized the blacksmith was richer than him, not because he had more, but because he lacked the constant, itchy burden of wanting anything more. Real abundance starts with the word no. No to the shiny distractions, no to the unnecessary noise, and no to the ego's endless, greedy demands. From this height, the city looked like a tiny, frantic toy, a place where people traded their vast, eternal souls for small, temporary, plastic things. He felt a deep, quiet yearning to be solid like the anvil, to be able to withstand the blows of life without shattering into 1,000 pieces. Discipline is not a punishment. It is the boundary that keeps our energy focused, turning a weak, flickering flame into a powerful, focused heating torch. When you know what is essential, the non-essential loses its power over you. You are no longer a target for those who sell false happiness. True freedom is not the ability to do anything you want. It is the power to not do what you know is harmful to you. Even the smallest thing, when made with integrity and focus, has more value than a mountain of mass-produced, soulless, and disposable luxury goods. He realized that his life was like a piece of iron that had been left in the rain, rusting away because he hadn't bothered to forge it. As the day ended, Michael felt a warmth in his chest that wasn't from the fire, but from the first stirrings of a new internal hope. The path back to the city would be the same, but the man walking it was fundamentally different, armed with a new kind of inner armor. He wasn't going back to earn more money. He was going back to reclaim his life from the temptations that had been holding him hostage. The universe was vast and full of wonder, and he had been spending his time looking at small, glowing screens in dark, cluttered, lonely rooms. Every no to a temptation would be a yes to this feeling of expansion, a yes to the vast, quiet space of his own true soul. The secret of wealth was finally clear. It is the surplus of peace that remains when all the unnecessary desires have been finally stripped away. The work was done for now, but the forging of Michael's new life was only just beginning in the quiet, dark, and expectant night air. Returning home, Michael didn't feel the need to buy anything to celebrate. Instead, he felt a strange, new joy in the act of letting go. Giving up a desire isn't about suffering. It's about choosing. It's about deciding that your long-term peace is more important than a 5-minute thrill. He found that the food he prepared himself tasted better, not because it was expensive, but because it was made with his own time and attention. Every time you refuse a craving, you are adding a stone to the wall that protects your inner freedom from the storms of the world. He started to notice the wealth in the small things, the way the light hit a leaf, the sound of rain, the feeling of clean air. The decision fatigue of having too many choices was gone, replaced by a streamlined life that left his mind free for much more important things. He realized that the best investments were not in stocks or luxury goods, but in his own understanding, his own skills, and his own character. Wealth is the ability to fully experience life, not just to watch it through the window of things you've bought but don't have time for. Financial security is a byproduct of self-control. When you stop bleeding money into the unnecessary, the wound of debt can finally begin to heal. He was in the world, but no longer of its illusions. He was a quiet observer of a game he had finally chosen to stop playing. Self-discipline is the highest form of self-love. It is the gift you give to your future self, ensuring a life of dignity and true independence. He had discovered that the most powerful thing he could own was his own will, the ability to say, "I do not need that," and mean it. Health is a wealth that no bank can hold, and it flourishes in the soil of a simple, disciplined, and focused lifestyle of true purpose. When you are not focused on your own lack, you finally have the abundance of spirit to notice and help fill the needs of others. His work was no longer a means to an end. It was a form of expression, a way to contribute something meaningful to the world around him. The nail was a symbol of his new life, small, strong, and deeply integrated into a structure that actually serves a purpose for the whole. He saw the bars of the cage now, the way debt and desire work together to keep people running in circles until they are completely exhausted. Creativity is an internal spring that never runs dry, as long as you don't bury it under the heavy rocks of material, hollow, and noisy possessions. He was finally rich because he had more than enough of the only thing that truly matters, the time to live his own life fully. The battle was won, not by fighting for more, but by surrendering the need for everything that was never really his to begin with anyway. True wealth is the ability to sleep with a clear conscience and a heart that doesn't hunger for what it doesn't already have right now. A year has passed, and the man standing here is a stranger to the one who once sat in a room full of expensive, hollow shadows. He doesn't have the newest car or the largest house, but he has the largest sense of freedom he has ever known in his life. His money is no longer a tool for distraction, but a shield of protection, allowing him to choose how he spends every precious hour of existence. Nature doesn't hurry, yet everything is accomplished. He learned to move at the pace of his own soul rather than the frantic pace of society. True wealth is like the seasons. It is a steady, natural cycle of growth and rest, not a frantic, unsustainable, and artificial boom and bust. He invested his time in people, and the returns were far greater than any interest rate could ever offer in even the most bullish market. His hands were no longer just tools for earning, they were instruments of living, making his mark on the world in small, quiet, and meaningful ways. He saw the beauty in the ordinary, the luxury in the simple, and the profound richness in the moments that most people simply hurry past. Knowledge was his new currency, and the more he spent his time on it, the more his internal net worth grew and expanded without limit. He was no longer chasing a destination. He had realized that the journey itself was the prize, as long as he walked it with integrity. He knew that pain well, the belief that a single object could solve an internal conflict, and he was glad to finally be free from it. His home reflected his mind, clear, calm, and focused only on what is truly essential for a life of purpose, joy, and lasting inner peace. Wealth is the ability to sustain life, to nurture growth, and to appreciate the slow unfolding of beauty in every living thing around us today. It reminded him that strength comes from fire, and that the best versions of ourselves are forged in the heat of our own difficult, brave choices. When was the last time you felt truly wealthy? Not because of what you bought, but because of what you realized you no longer needed. That realization is the moment of true liberation, the moment when the world's power over your happiness finally begins to wither away and die forever. Wealth is not a number in a bank. It is the quality of your character and the level of control you have over your own heart's desires. When you are no longer a slave to your impulses, you become the master of your own destiny, the architect of a truly magnificent and free life. The path is simple, but it is not easy. It requires you to say no 1,000 times so that you can say one great yes to yourself. The journey of Michael can be your journey too. It begins with a single choice, a single moment of honesty, and a single brave act of refusal. Don't wait for a crisis to wake you up. Choose to see the truth today and start building the fortress of your own internal, lasting, and true wealth. The secret is out. It is not in your wallet, but in your will. It is not in your earnings, but in your bold, brave, and daily rejections. The richest man in the world is the one who wants for nothing. May you find that richness within yourself, starting from this very moment, right now.